Hey everyone, this is Dana. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are down at the workshop to take a look at some of the normal tools that you're going to need when you're working on your tractor's AC system. Today we're going to take a look at a new tool here in a minute. This is going to be a leak detector for your AC system. But first I wanted to go through some of the tools that we've got out here on the workbench, because when we work on the tractor AC system, first off I got the gauge set with the quick connects on it. And so you've got your high and low pressure. The high side is red. Low pressure side is blue. And the same is true of the fittings on the inside. These quick connect fittings are sized for the vehicle. Your gauges have a graduated scale on them for each of the different refrigerants, but you want to check your charts too and compare that to your ambient temperature. Okay, so next thing we're going to look at is refrigerants. So a lot of vehicles, like the tractor is using an R134A. This is actually a can I picked up just as an example. I didn't use my gauge set to fill up, but this is a R134A for vehicles, and it has a low side hose built right onto it. So if you just need to recharge the system and you need a quick solution, this is a disposable solution. You know, I prefer to use my gauge sets with like we use ZeroR on the Kubota, and ZeroR with a tap on it. You need the self-piercing tap because this is not a self-sealing can. So you put the tap on there, and then we can use this with our gauge setup. So you put the self-piercing tap onto the can of ZeroR, and this will let us use this with our set of gauges. This is a R414B Hot Shot. I believe this was an older refrigerant that I have sitting around from when this was one of the first replacements they developed for R12 and R134A. And then anytime you're working on an air conditioning system and you're going to put it back in service, you need a vacuum pump to get all the air out of the system, because there's going to be 1 atmosphere pressure in there, and you need to pump that down, or that air is going to contaminate your refrigerant. But what we're really here to talk about today is a new tool. So let's get this other stuff out of the way. A new tool we're adding to the inventory, straight off the Amazon delivery. And let's see what we got here. So this is the TOPTES refrigerant leak detector, RT-389. All right, let's get into this and see what's going on here. Oh, nice little carrying case. Here's that box. We will be recycling that we recycle all cardboard here on the farm to ship out quail eggs. So we'll be shredding that all up. Thank you for the packing material for quail eggs here on the Quail farm. Yeah, that was a little side note for the Quail farm business. If you need Bob White quail eggs, Katornik's quail eggs, we do sell it. Oh, and there is the leak detector. Instruction manual with all those instructions. Now let's see. Scanning. Please keep your mouth and nose away from the sensor during power up and warm up. The carbon dioxide from the human breath can interfere with calibration. That sounds important to know. All right, so we got the actual leak detector out here. And this feels like a really high quality unit. This is some good plastic on it. It doesn't feel cheap at all. All right, let's get that plastic off the screen. Let's get this thing fired up. Oh. Press and hold the power button to power on. And we are to the welcome screen, and it is booting up. Unit is going through calibration testing right now. Well, let's see what the storage is. Not sure what the storage is. All right, and it looks like it is running. Battery's at 3/4 right now. There is a USB cable in the box, in the carrying case. This is a nice padded carrying case. Okay, so this unit will show how much gas it is sensing by the graph right here. So when you're using this unit right here, you're looking for a leak. Obviously, you're running the sensor around, and you can see this is detecting parts per million of refrigerant. And then this graph is showing you when you're getting closer or further away from the leak based on the strength. The green light at the top indicates it's not currently detecting anything, but as we keep making our way along here. So we're looking for a leak, and we can see we found it on the bar graph right there. Let's briefly talk about the gases this particular meter is supposed to be certified for. This is certified for HCFs, HCFCs, CFCs, PCFs, HFO, 1, 2, 3, 4 YF, R717, HC and some different blends. Like we got this R0 is actually a blend of some flammable components here. I believe it's like some butanes or some propanes. But this detects R0 just fine. Operating time on this unit with a fully charged battery is 8 hours. And let's get it tested on the tractor. We've got a little leak on the tractor we need to check out from the leak detector out. I'll give it a long press to get fired up here. Got the welcome screen on. It's got to go through a quick self-test up cycle. While it does that, let's take a look. We're going to be looking at the condensing coil on the front with the fittings where these come together, and there's no ring between here. The dryer down here. We're looking where the hoses come down into the AC compressor. Comes in from the expansion coil, where the refrigerant goes. I'm going to demonstrate on this spare compressor I have. We're going to take the sniffer end of our detector, and we're going to be about 3/4 to about 3 inches away. And you can see right here is where the hose would come in. So this would be a likely spot for a leak where the O-ring was leaking. And so the most likely spots where you're going to get a leak on a system like this is anywhere where the fittings come together. You can see where we got the refrigerant comes in from the expansion coil, and where the refrigerant goes out to the condensing coil. So we'll just come along here over to the next fitting over at the coil. And down there are some fittings on the dryer where we bring the refrigerant to the dryer. The dryer's purpose is to actually dry any excess moisture out of it. So there's a desiccant in there that can pull the moisture out of the air. There's another fitting down low by the front of the coil. Sniff right there. Okay, so when we get an alarm, let's say we get an alarm down here, this is what it's going to sound like. All right, looks like we found the leak down from that fitting. Okay, now the next spot you might have to worry about if you worried you have a leak in your evaporative coil and your expansion valve. Those are up in the ceiling area, or up in the roof area. So check out the video we have on removing the cab of your tractor and getting up there and looking at the expansion coil. Now when we're looking for leaks in the system, most of the time where we're going to be finding them is actually in the O-rings that's contained inside these fittings. And so every time you need to work on the system, you should be changing these O-rings out. But so if we detected a leak right now in this fitting, the very first step we got to do is recover all the refrigerant out of the system, because we can't just take this out because the system is currently under pressure. So after we've recovered all the refrigerant out of the system, then we'd be able to go ahead and break this union apart. And like I said, the most likely cause that our refrigerant leak detector has found of a refrigerant leak is an O-ring. So we got this O-ring kit. We're going to take our O-ring off the fitting from the tractor, and we're going to match it up to the O-ring that fits here. And then we're going to put it right back in this joint. We've got a whole video that shows you how to take these coils out, how to check everything.